Hello, welcome to Gemini Star Spiritual Wellness. Thank you for joining me today. Hope you're all doing well. So, in this video, we're going to do the mid month check in for the month of April with the tarot cards. If you look back a couple videos before this, I did a video for the beginning of the month of April 2025. So, this is going to be the mid month check in for April 2025. And starting in May, I'm going to start to do one a week. So I'll do I'm going to do a beginning of the month energy and then middle of the month check in on tarot. And then I'm going to do a once a week tarot reading starting, from Sunday to Saturday of that week. So I'm going to be adding more videos with the tarot readings. But I wanted to look at the energy, coming up for the rest of the month of April from 15th to the 30th of April. It was interesting in the previous reading, it talked a lot about information that's missing that we don't know about and coming to light. And I was like, oh boy, that is definitely accurate compared to first half of April. I felt like April had a lot of intense energies in it. There was a lot going on for the first half of April. So let's see. As you can hear, I'm shuffling the cards. I'm still working on trying to get that. I have mechanism to like hold my phone camera up so you can see, like, you'll see me, but you'll also have a split screen with the cards and see them when I do the tarot readings, but I haven't figured out how to do that yet. My one child is a my one son, he's a IT person, so I'm going to ask him to help me figure that out cuz that's beyond my technical capabilities. So I haven't figured out how to do that yet. So I'm just going to have to hold the cards up until that time comes when I get that all set up. But that is something I'm willing to do. So my intention is, what is the energy, spirit guides, archangels? What's the energy for the collectives? This is for the whole collective for the mid-month check-in. So what's going to be the energies, spirit guides, archangels for the collective from April 15th to the 30th? What is going to be the energies? So let's see what happens with this energy. What is going to be the energy for the collective? So the collective is everybody watching. When I say the collective, that's what I mean. Everyone who's watching or who might tune into this video. What is going to be energy for the rest of the month of April, 15th through the 30th for the collective? All right, let's see what we got going on here. Oh, hmm. Okay. So I'm looking at it from the collective. I guess this could also be, a personal reading. It could be. I know some readers do, by zodiac sign and they do personal readings, but I'm looking at this from the collective, and maybe down the road, I'll add those type of readings to the channel. I'm trying to pace myself because I want to do more videos with the weekly tarot read, but I also am going to try to increase some other videos as well. But yeah, I work full time and I'm in a working on a certification right now. So I've got a lot going on. Plus my children and grandchildren keep me real busy. So I'm trying to balance everything out. But once I think down the road, I might be adding those type of readings as well. But we will see. We'll see how it goes in May when I add that weekly reading. So let's look at it. So definitely in the past, there's been a lot of defensiveness and combativeness with people. So you could see this in your personal life as well. People just being grumpy, being very contentious, conflict driven, wanting to fight, being very defensive. And that's kind of the past energy that we have coming into the middle of April. And I can see that. I've noticed that myself with people being kind of combative, wanting to fight. And I'm not like that at all. So when somebody starts kind of laying into me and being in that type of energy, I'm like, "Well, okay, I'm just gonna have a good day, just walk away because I don't want to be a part of that." But as a collective, as a group, what's interesting is we have the devil card. Here, hold this so you can see it. And so what I feel is there's a lot of when you look back at the old reading I did, it talked about a lot of information coming out, information that's still hidden from us that we don't know about. And I feel like basically dark energy, dark entities is what's popping out in my mind with this card right here in this position, that there's going to be there's been a lot of influence from those type of entities, either in our personal life or on a global scale, and it's probably going to be both. And that could go back to the past card I just mentioned. I'm trying to get used to where the camera is. There we go. That combativeness, that defensiveness, contention. And that's like, those are low vibrational energies, very, you know, dark type energies. And I think it's playing into, that's the type of energy we are as a collective. Like we're in that kind of dark energy. A lot of people are, and not even on a global. And it could be, some of that information that was missing in the previous reading. It could be having to do with dark entities, dark influences, things like that, information that we don't know about yet that'll be coming out, that shows about how much influence that there has been over the collective, from those types of entities. So definitely coming from like a kind of a negative, low vibe energy there as a collective going into the middle of April. But what's interesting is, and the row I'm looking at now is the current energies, but it's changing because we have the full coming in. So the full is like you're taking a leap of faith, you're moving forward, you have everything you need. So there we go. You have everything you need to take a leap of faith, and you're going for it. So it's like lighter energy. So I think that dark energy and that knowledge that's going to be coming to light, that in that contention, it's pushing us into, we're basically starting over. And in the video I did, talking about fear and anxiety, that was like 2 videos ahead of this one, I think. It talks a lot about, systems are ending. The way of life that we know of for the last couple thousand years is coming to an end. And so this influence is coming to an end. And we're seeing, like, we're starting over as a collective, like brand new energy, uplifting energy coming forward. And this is happening right now. So as those systems are collapsing and that way of life we know of is collapsing, we're taking a leap of faith into the new, starting these new systems, starting it the way we want it to be. So remember, the collective consciousness, we can create the world any way we want to through our thoughts. And so if we keep thinking about how we want the world to be, how we want it to move forward, then we can bring it into fruition. And also, another positive energy I see coming in, sorry, still trying to get used to where the camera is the Knight of Swords here. So that's fast moving energy. Swords is fast moving energy. So I feel like the situations I'm talking about with the full card, taking a leap of faith, and this could also be in your personal life, coming into a leap of faith in your personal life, starting new, starting, just going for it, leaving the negative stuff behind that you've been dealing with, the combativeness. You can take it any way it resonates with you, but the Knight of Swords, I feel like that is basically positive energy coming in. So it's like information coming in, thoughts, words, knowledge coming in, gets represented by the swords, which is fast energy. So it's coming in quick. And this is all happening right now. So the readings from the 15th to 30th. So I'm saying during that 2 week period, you're going to start to see some of this energy come in, fast moving energy coming in, that's going to be positive to help us break that negative energy that has had influence over us into the positive, going forth into the positive with a brand new beginning. And there's going to be a lot of knowledge, information coming that's going to help transfer that into the positive, help bring us out of that old combative negative energy into positive, as a collective or personally. And one thing I forgot to mention in the beginning of this video is, remember that, this is for a lot of people watching, so it might or might not resonate with you. So if it does, great. Take what resonates and leave the rest, leave the rest behind if it doesn't. Um, so let's see. So that's what I feel is going on at the present moment during that. And that's good. I mean, that's positive. That's a big shift, a big change coming in. And then and this also could be like, Knight of Swords could also be like positive energy coming in, positive people coming into your life. And on a global scale, it could be positive energy coming in, or people or entities, could also be people coming in to combat the negative that was in the previously there. So when we look at the near future, we got the Page of Pentacles. So what I feel is coming in is tangible, like messages, but it's going to be small. So it's not going to be like we see big changes coming in with the Fool, right, and the Knight of Swords, but I see like small messages coming in, small changes. So it's going to be it's going to take time. But excuse me. It's going to take time. It's not like it's going to be boom, it's going to be on our lap all at one time. So it's going to be small little tangible messages or information kind of trickling out in the near future that's going to kind of help moving us forward. So you might see some some disclosure right away with that, swords energy, Knight of Swords coming in, but then in the near future you're going to continue to have tangible messages coming in, tangible, like it's the very beginning of the changes coming in. And remember, it's a process. It's not going to happen overnight because the systems that are changing have been around for thousands of years. So it takes time to rebuild that. It's not going to happen in a day. And then we look at, we've got some interesting cards from the universe for, you've got two major big boys here. This is a major arcana. So they're very strong energy. We got two right here. Messages from or I guess you'd say advice from the universe about all this for that 2-week period in April, and it looks like justice. So justice will be served. And looking at the previous cards, the row up from this, I would say that justice will be served against the dark side or against dark entities, dark systems. Dark justice will be served, meaning that they'll be done away with. But justice could also be served, and people that have been involved in these type of activities could be brought to justice. So I definitely see justice against the dark, coming into the light, whatever that may mean. Like I said, it could be meaning people, or you might see, some people getting arrested or things like that happening during that period of time, but definitely justice being served by the universe. And then, and the reason why I'm saying systems is because we have this big card, Hierophant card right here, and that can mean organization systems. So I would say you're going to see justice in changes in organizations. So if things were not on the up and up before in organizations, and there was shady things going on behind the scenes or negative things happening that people weren't aware of, that will come to light, but you'll also see justice served. So if anyone's doing those type of activities in those organizations, in those systems, then it will be brought to light and they'll be dealt with. The justice will happen to clear that out so we can have that new beginning, that new positive, uplifting beginning with a new positive system that is away from that negative energy. So that's what I see coming forward. So it looks like April's going to continue to be pretty intense month with energy for the last 2 weeks of the month. Looking at this spread, it looks like it's going to continue to be pretty intense. So just hang in there. And going back to that video I mentioned a little bit ago about the fear, I think it was Fear and Panic. I can't remember the whole title, but it's in there. Fear, panic, not to fear or fight against fear. I think it was. Um, that's good to look at that again, looking at the spread, because I feel like these changes are going to be difficult for a lot of people, because you have to remember that our whole life, we grew up with these systems. It's all we know. And even though it's changing for the better, it's going to freak a lot of people out because it's changing, because nobody does well with change. Humans don't do well with change. And so I think we just need to keep focused on not being afraid of these changes, and just know in the back of our mind that when we get through this process, it's going to be so much better on the other side, just like I said in that video. So I think that's what we need to kind of keep our mindset at over this last 2 weeks of April. So I wasn't expecting such a heavy, because this is like a heavy read here. And I'm like, wow, it's a lot of intense energy. But I feel like the changes are going to start. We'll start to see some big changes the last 2 months of April. And I do like the Justice card being there with the Hierophant, because I feel like it is time for some of these dark entities, dark energies, just on the all over, and to come, to have justice served, so to speak, by the light. And that's exciting to see that. But also, like I said, this is collective for everybody, but it could be, you could also, that might, this all might also might pertain to your personal life as well. You might see this on a personal level as well as on a global level. Oh, sorry, global level. So it could be both. So I hope you enjoyed that reading, and like I said, if it resonated with you, great. If it didn't, then just take what does resonate and leave the rest behind. But thank you so much for joining me today for this April 15th through 30th mid-month check-in tarot read. And then, like I said, I'll start first, I'll do a beginning of the month of May read, and then I'll start with the weeklies and do a mid-month for May. And then I'm going to have them in the playlist, so y'all have them under the correct playlist, so you can always go back and look at them. And if you miss it, if you don't see it when it first comes out. But please like and subscribe to the channel. And because when you like it, it allows more people to get pushes the video out to more people. And if you subscribe, that way you'll get future videos. So thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this reading, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye. Have a good day.